Hey everybody, Tony's right. How are you? Oh my god, I'm out here. How are you? It's Sunday. No, it's not. It's actually not. It's like we got 1 minute. Um, I went to the Eastern Shore there we go. Eastern Shore Writers Association conference today, and yeah, it was like really good. So essentially, it was like an all day kind of conference. It started like in the morning, basically the hours of 9 to 5, and they had different sections and different places you could go. And I was like, okay, cool. So I had to drive from where I live all the way over there. So this is in Maryland. So Maryland has like central Maryland. So people know more like Baltimore and stuff like that. That's where I live. And then Eastern Shore is like east of like the Bay, Chesapeake, right? Like all of that kind of, that. So that's where you get like your Ocean City and all that kind of stuff, like the Far East and stuff. But it wasn't that far over, but it was like an hour's drive away, because Eastern Shore is like 3-ish hours. But it was like half the time or whatever. So I went there, Eastern Shore Writers Association. So they do like quite a few events throughout the year. They do have like a thing that they do like every Thursday or every other Thursday or something like that. You can go on Zoom and like participate with them, and they have like a writing type thing. And then they have other like smaller events, but like yeah, this is like their main event. So one of the ladies who actually happens to be like, I think she's stepping down now as like chair or whatever, but she was at the other event that I went to, which is Manor House Moncton, Maryland. Manor House Moncton. And so I was like really interested, and she mentioned this association, but yeah, I ended up looking at it and it was popping up and stuff like that. And originally it was sold out, and I was like really sad. So I put myself on a waiting list, and it's so funny because at like 2 o'clock in the morning, they were like, oh, something opened up. And I was like, oh, yay. And then so I like bought a ticket. So it was like $170. If you're a member, it's like $135. So I paid my ticket, and then I went this Saturday. And so it was really cool. So this is what it looks like, the booklet that you get. And then we were at on a community college type campus. So there's that. And so people like came in from like all sorts of places. Hold on, I gotta get water. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, so they have this event like every year. I think they've had it for at least like 10 plus years. As far as I know, I think it's at least 10 years. And so it's a pretty popular event. Like I said, we have people coming from like outside of Maryland to this event, and so really good. And sometimes like they've lived in Maryland and now they're like somewhere else, and they were born in Maryland and they live somewhere else, so they're coming back and stuff like that. It's really cool. So it is like kind of older, so the average age is probably like 55 or so, for real, to be honest. So if you're looking for younger people, this may not be your crowd. So yeah, but this is what it looks like. Really nice. And so they had all of these breakout sessions. So the different categories they had fiction, poetry, nonfiction, craft, publishing, marketing, promotion, and that's all one thing, and then specialty. So they had 6 different places you can go. And so you had 5 sessions, and then it was like an additional section that I think you had to sign up for. So yeah, there's that. So I chose The first section, I got there late because, like, that's me. Like, same thing with Manor Hill, got there late. I wasn't that late. I was like 15 minutes late. But the section I wanted to go into, which was poetry, was packed. So it wasn't like I could even get in the room in the first place. So I just like chilled out and ate like food and stuff like that because I took my like medicine to like, you know, like my diabetic medicine. So you got to take it 30 minutes before and all kinds of stuff. So I just like ate since it was like an hour long drive. I like ate and got some food and like chilled out or whatever, and did that. So, but the session I wanted to go with is called Fractures and Fragments, Layer, Distill, and Illuminate Your Poetry Using Everything You Were Taught Not to Do. I wanted to do that one, but it was kind of packed. It's like I got there late, but like since the room was full, I didn't even try. The next session, and they were like 50 minutes each. The next session I did attend, and I changed it up a little bit. So the next section I went to was actually a flash fiction one. So it was called Concision and Precision in Flash Fiction. And that one was really good because like I'm in an MFA program, right? Like that's why this channel was started. But it really helped me to generate a lot of ideas today. And I'm so happy about that because like sometimes generating, I feel so stuck trying to generate ideas, and I had an idea and it was like kind of just sitting there and it wasn't particularly going going anywhere, and like doing this whole thing like helps me a lot. Let me look at my hot dogs. This is gonna be like a pause stop love video. Hold on. So yeah, all of these like sessions are about 50 minutes each. And yeah, I decided to do the flash fiction one as my first proper one at 10-ish. And so it was really good with generating. Like I said, I had kind of been stuck, and usually like whatever idea I proceed forward with has been around my mind, circling around my mind for a minute. But for right now, I was kind of like, how am I gonna like start this? What's the entry point to it? All that kind of stuff. And I was just like kind of like stressing out about it because I was like, I just don't know. So I was like, whatever. So it was really good to do this one because we went over like quite a few stories, and hopefully I have them. Yeah. So she had this like handout, and she was like, if you want any more notes, you can always just email her. It's like that. So we went over the flash fiction, and then there's some resources that she gave about where you can submit this kind of stuff, because if you like shorter fiction, like if you like nano and micro and flash fiction, some places don't take that. They really want you to be at 2,500 words or 5,000 words, or they want a manuscript of stories, or you know, they want a big thing. And you know, there's some people out there like myself, I like writing shorter works. I just think they make more sense for what I want to do. I don't really feel like I have a novel in me that is fiction. I feel like I have 30,000 micro nano flash fiction type things, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to have a big grandiose fiction like career. You can do the nano and the micro and stuff like that, and it can work for you, right? So it was really good to get introduced to these spaces. So 6 Sentences is an online journal that she mentioned, and here there's called Blink Ink. They have something going on, and then we had a lot of generative exercises that like really helped us. And to me, I wasn't really staying within the word count, but the ideas were just sprouting off and sprouting off and sprouting off. And I was like, I need to get on my writing shit for fiction so I can get like get myself into some journals and stuff like that. And the cool thing about her is that she actually is like an editor. So some of these people that actually are in the field, like they edit and stuff like that. So she is an editor for One Place that's in Maryland. So it's really cool. So I really enjoyed that section. Then I did go back to poetry. So I did stay in poetry for the most part. And it was 2 sessions. Like I said, the first one, well, 2 sessions that I kind of like deviated a little bit. So the next one was poetry, hello and goodbye, a bawd, praise, and elegy. And so that was like a good section because I really don't know a lot about the different forms of poetry and the different kinds of poems and stuff like that. Like outside of like a haiku, really like a sonnet or whatever. Like I had never heard of like a villanelle until I got here, right? And so like to my MFA program, that is. Hold on, let me get my hot dogs out the thing. Hold on. So yeah, like I like didn't know a lot of these terms, like, or if I heard them in passing and I only knew like the full example, like, you know what I'm saying, like I may have seen the poem or something like that, but like to actually like know really what it is, like that wasn't for me. And I was like living my life. I wasn't studying poetry like very formally. I was just like writing stuff. And so now there's like an intentionality that comes through. And I think I might do a video about that, intentionality in poetry. Because it's something, intentionality in writing in general, but poetry especially, like it isn't just like fly by the seat of your pants type thing. Like there's actual intention to it. So yeah, so we covered elegy and stuff like that. And she printed this off at poets.com, which is fine. But at least I have like examples and stuff like that. So we talked about elegy a little bit, and then we read the elegy by Dennis Smith, which is really good. And then the Abads, yeah, we read them, and they were really good. And then the praise poem, we kind of like went over that a little bit too. And then there was some other things that we had from her, some other like handout we have from her. Oh yeah, hello and goodbye, a bawd, praise, and elegy. And so she just gave this to us and let us have it. And so we have some more examples in here that we were talking to. And like, I'm gonna be real, like these Abads was hitting for real, like, and that's another reason why I like going to these things, because like I'm not perusing poets.com, poets.org, poets.whatever, poets.org or whatever, all these places all the time for new material. Sometimes I just stay away because I'm like, this is too much. It's so many people you can pick from, you know, and it gets overwhelming. And yeah, like I'm like, my God. So yeah, like I really enjoyed Warlord. Like I really did. Like the work is really nice. And this one is called Ghosting by Amy Whitmore. Yeah, this joint is like hitting for real. Like, oh my God. So we read it in class and people was like, damn. And this is another thing that happened with this conference, is like I really felt like this is where I need to be, like I'm on the right track when it comes to my career and what I want to do, and how like I really like understand that I'm more aligned with what I want to do, because it feels like a lot of stuff outside of this is like a personal aside type thing for this video, but like a lot of stuff that I've done outside of this feels so stagnant, and I don't feel like stagnant. I feel like I'm always growing as a writer, and it just lets me know I'm in the right space, like, and it's something really good about that. Anyway, so we learned about those. We didn't really do any like practice, but we learned about them and learned about the form. And then people just talked about their personal experiences with encountering these poems and stuff like that. But like, I definitely got introduced to new people I would have never probably sought out on my own. And that's like I said, that's another reason why I choose these things. So then we had lunch, and then we had the keynote speaker, who was Brian Turner. And so he was going through his life and he meandered through and stuff like that. I don't know if people liked him as a speaker, and I get it, because like they are expecting a linearity to his work and to his speech, and he was kind of like a little bit over here, a little bit when he was like serving military, and then a little bit when he was doing this, and a little bit when he was doing that, and then it was like kind of going back and forth and different ideas and stuff like that. So it wasn't like it doesn't come off coherent and cohesive, but I liked it because I kind of feel like it probably lent him like to be like the poet that he is, because I was reading some of his stuff in there. I was like, damn. Because what? So I enjoyed the speaker. But yeah, so he was a speaker, and then they were kind of behind, so they pushed all the sessions like back time wise. And so the next time slot we had was like 1:40ish. And so I took experimental writing. It was a workshop. So this one was really cool. And once again, let me pause this video because I got to get my notebook. Hold on. So the experimental writing workshop, the teacher used to teach at another program that's in like Maryland, like a writing, I don't think it's an MFA, I think it's an MA, for writing and stuff like that. But anyway, so he gave us a few prompts. He rattled off so many people who would write, and I wish he wrote down the names, because like it seemed like a lot of really fantastic people that were like fringe or experimental, because it was an experimental writing workshop, right? And like I just couldn't catch them because he was like talking not so fast but kind of low, and then kind of like you know, you'll like get it, like, you know, like you'll kind of find these people eventually, like if you go to the bookstore, if you like go on some blog somewhere, like that's the kind of vibe he gave. Like you'll come across their work if you know what I'm saying, if you like go down the rabbit hole, you'll find them, type deal. And I was like, damn, like I really need. He didn't seem rude or anything. It's just like just like he was just moving fast. I was like, what was that name? So anyway, he did a lot of generative exercises because it was a writing workshop. So one of them was a cartoon character or superhero meets with a relative. And I'm gonna be real, I just was like rattling on shit. I wasn't even, it was like I started, but for me, I kind of like deviated away a little bit from it. And so I like had it, and then I like went off on this like murder mystery rant type joke. And so, yeah. So mine was Cardcaptor Sakura. And then I guess she was meeting with my dad or whatever. And then I was like, first off, I don't believe that my daughter is caught in a card. I was like, there's so much I need to know about this. How does she fit there? What's the name? The Misty. What is Misty? Missy, mystery, mystery files. On a shelf, and the shelf holds a mystery of a mysterious mystery that tries to warn of a mystery happening in the mystery and it did it with the Miss Tori did it with the candlestick in room 55. I saw her. This is my confession. She made me do it. I didn't want to. Like, that has nothing to do with like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? That has nothing to do with the thing. Anyway, but it was like nice and generative. And then another one was, it was really cool. Another one is a new kind of animal or insect. And so basically, I made it like humans, like, it's the new one, but it looks like us, but like it's not us. And but by the time you realize it isn't us, it's kind of like too late. So I kind of made that. And then I came up with some more ideas. And then this one was really cool because like the generatives, the stories, like the one lady wrote a really nice like beginning story, and it was so fucking cool. But he was like a new kind of weather, and so I was like, oh my god, like if we had weather, what kind of weather was? And me and one lady were kind of like in the same vein, because I was like a weather, like sneezing weather, and I was like a biohazard disaster type deal. And then one lady, the lady that I really liked, hers was like it rained stolen items. So like one of the items that was stolen would be like car converters or whatever, and then another would be like pins from like offices and shit like that. And it was like really cool because it was like, that's interesting. And then he talked about another story. It's like I guess it's like a short story type, and I forget who the person was. I think I tried to write it down. And it was like, what the prompt ended up being, what happens when the end of the world is about to happen. And so yeah, so that's kind of how I went. And yeah, and so it was really great for generative type things. Another thing that happened when I was doing the Abad Praise and Elegy is that I came up with 2 poems that I need to turn in. Like, so we have to turn in alternating weeks. We have to turn in our pieces. So we have all the genres of our program in the same advanced writing course. So they each, if you're memoir, you have to submit a certain amount of words. If you're fiction, you have to submit a certain amount of words. For poetry, it's 2 poems. And so as I was leaving the Abad, I started remembering this artist called Moor Mother. And Moor is Moor Mother. Pretty experimental along with an artist named Klein, I think. Because I keep thinking they're the same person, and I don't think they're the same person. I think they're both Black artists. I think Moor Mother Black, and then Klein is Black. But they're both very experimental. So I listen to a wide range of music, but anyway, I was thinking about Moor Mother. And then I just started more, mother, more. And I just started putting together a poem in my mind. And I was like, oh my God, this is fucking fantastic. I'm so great. Cause like I said, the other idea that I had felt so underdeveloped. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be terrible because I have a book report due, I have this poem due, and I have this other video project that I need to do. And I'm like, if I don't have these ideas, I'm gonna be behind. Oh my God. So yeah. I've been experimenting and doing all this stuff. Anyway, so the last thing that I went to the last session that I went to was called the Skinny Poetry Workshop Redo Line Breaks Love. I really enjoyed this one. I do think I'm going to submit this somewhere, this poem that I wrote. And so the writer, he came up with this form of poetry, it's a different form. And pretty much the shovel poem that Terrence Hayes made, he has the skinny poetry, the skinny poem. And so the skinny poem has a few rules to it. And it's really nice. So it's by Truth Thomas. That's who it is. The skinny poem, it's an 11-line poem that abides by the following form guidelines. The first and 11th lines are bookend lines and can vary in length. But he prefers it to be shorter, right? Also, though, the bookend lines must contain the same words, though the order of words can be arranged and different forms of the words can be used. So you can take out words and stuff like that, but this is what he means. If you use the words know and your bookend, you can use known or knowing in the other one, or switch the order, right? Jane came home, Jane. You could do that with the experimental. Now the other parts, all other lines except the first and the last must contain only one word. The second, 6th, and 10th lines, called chorus lines, must be identical. But like the bookend lines, they can include different variations of the same root word. Example, wild, wildly, wildest. The purpose of a skinny or skinnies is to convey a vivid image using as few words as possible. Skinny poems can cover any subject, though the form often addresses some more serious issues facing humanity. Skinnies can also be linked together, similar to haiku, senryu, or tanka. Additionally, as with much poetry, imagery, layering, meaning, and compelling freshness are the utmost importance. So he gives some examples, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. This is going to be a long video. I'm sorry, guys. So he gives some of them. This is one if you want to read it for 2 seconds. And so it's really cool. So I'll read this one. How it happens. I watched my body fall in love, surging oxytocin, pupils dilating, surging dopamine, palms sweating, surging in love. I watched my body fall. So that's the form. And I really enjoy it. If you ever want to submit and you want to like challenge yourself, the skinnypoetryjournal.com is where he takes submissions. He said he opened it up to smaller, like shorter pieces, like shorter poems outside of just the form that he created. And I think it's very fabulous because it gets you to think about intentionality of words, but it also can really help you with the idea of line breaks, even though each line is only one word except for the first and the 11th, the first and the last. It really starts to make you think about what words help you to start breaking those rules. And if you want to, like, how do you want to like start breaking them? And just like I said, the intentionality of words, intentionality of word choice, word like development, context, all of that kind of stuff. But definitely, I feel like this is an experiment in line breaking, a very interesting line breaking kind of thing. Anyway, so that's True Thomas, and that was the last session that I went on, and I like fucking loved it. I left after that because there was a special session with Brian Turner, and then they had an after party, but I was an hour away and I was tired because I got up at like 7 something and I had like 5 hours of sleep and I was tired and I wanted to go back home, and I was cranky the whole drive home. But this is really good. I'm going to do a part 2 because the part 2 is going to be about the books that I got because they had a bookstore. And sure, I spent a bunch of money on books. But anyway, so here's the advertisements if you're local, if you're in Maryland, Baltimore-ish area, or just Maryland in general. They have the City Lit Festival, which is taking place April 5th. And then they have something on April 25th. Cool. They have Manor Hill Moncton Poetry Day, May 18th. And then they have Mystery Loves Company. And then, some other things. And yeah, I'll go into the other thing. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm sorry this is so long. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.